Welcome back to Sacred Wild Man. My name's Roy, and today I'd like to share with you a practice called Zhan Zhuang, otherwise known as standing like a tree. This is a really powerful standing meditation that helps to improve your awareness, your sense of internal awareness, or known as interoception in neuroscience. And it's a really powerful tool for improving your grounding, which I think is something that we could all use during this time of uncertainty and all the chaos that's going on. The energy feels really up in the air as people are trying to navigate their lives that's completely strayed away from what they've known as normal. And in times like these, it's really easy to get caught up in all the mental chatter, in the anxiety, which are all valid. But to be stuck in that state, I think, makes it really hard to make decisions that come from a place of calm, grounded, and feel like they're coming from your intuition as opposed to a reactive state. So this is a tool that I'm practicing myself and want to offer to all of you as something to help support you during these times. A really powerful part of this practice is, other than just improving the internal awareness, it helps to improve your focus and mental clarity. Also something that even prior to the pandemic situation that we're in, I think was something that many people have struggled to find, is a sense of peace. And so this practice really helps bring that mental clarity and focus back again. But it's going to take practice and a lot of patience as well. If you want to learn more about Zhan Zhuang, the standing meditation, you can look into the resources that I have linked in the description below. They have great in-depth explanations of this practice, and you can also search other videos on YouTube. I do want to acknowledge that I'm not a practitioner of Tai Chi. This is a practice that does come from Tai Chi Chuan, and I have not myself been supervised or practiced with a master in Tai Chi. So I can't say, this is the right way to do it. The purpose of this video is more so a brief introduction and practice so that you can begin to utilize something to help you ground in these times. And you can do plenty of research, find a teacher near your area who can provide a lot more detailed and expert instruction than I can. So I came upon standing meditation as a practice for helping to ground. And what I've noticed in myself through mainly martial arts, but sometimes even just walking around, is that I've always had a rather unstable base. Whether that's walking around slightly on the balls of my feet, on my toes, feels like I'm it'd be really easy for me to be knocked off balance, which is very true in martial arts. Somebody sweeps me, I go down, I try to sweep them, I end up hurting myself more. And that's always bothered me. It's like, I want to get them. They're always getting me, but I want to get them. But I don't seem to have that strong of a base established. So with standing meditation and practicing it every day, my whole intention is to bring more awareness to my lower limbs, the lower half of my torso, and to be more grounded, to feel my feet connected to the earth and even down below the surface of the earth. So with Zhan Zhuang, the general idea is that you're bringing your energy down. You're sinking the chi, as they call it. And the reason why that's important is because right now, in the pandemic crisis that the whole world is experiencing, a lot of our energy is concentrated up here in our head. We're worried about our safety. We're worried about if we can return to the normal life that we had prior to this. And so with all these thoughts circulating, we're essentially creating a continuous pattern of tension and worry. So there's a constriction that happens in the body. It impacts your nervous system and it impacts your muscles. And what happens is, over time, that creates a lot of chronic tension and chronic pain, and also some psychological issues that can come with that, some psychosomatic issues. And so Zhan Zhuang helps to work on a bottom-top approach. In the West, we tend to have a top-bottom approach where we think if you can just change your mind, change your thoughts about something, your life will be different. And that is a powerful approach, and it doesn't always work depending on the person. And so there's a direct connection between this top heavy part and your bottom half, your body. If the mind is calm, the body can begin to calm down. And if the body is calm, the mind can begin to calm down. And the same applies if the mind is tense and anxious, the body is tense and anxious. And so Zhan Zhuang is a powerful practice because it's doing a bottom-top integration. You're becoming still in your body, and it's a little more active than the meditation that most people think of just try to have no thoughts, observe your breathing. You're observing your breathing, but also you're allowing your awareness to kind of sink down. So the idea is that you're kind of imagining gravity pulling on your body heavily. You can think of it as somebody has poured honey or molasses on the top of your head, and it's slowly just dripping down your body, sinking, heavy, pulling that energy down. And you can imagine your tailbone being pulled to the center of the earth, so that lengthens your spine as it's pulling down. And then you can imagine a string on the top of your head, on the crown, that's pulling up to the sky. And so there's a lengthening of your spine in both directions. And that helps to bring your body into proper alignment and allows the qi flow to begin moving in your body rather than getting stuck in chronic tension or muscle holding patterns. One other piece, if you want to look further into, is something called somatic experiencing. And that's a type of therapy that works really well for people who've experienced a lot of trauma. And when I think of Zhan Zhuang and looking at it from a somatic experiencing lens, I think of the categories of potential energy and kinetic energy. So potential energy being the energy in an object when it's at rest, kinetic energy being that when the object is in motion. If you were to take, say, an empty plastic water bottle and just crush it with your hand as hard as you can think of that as trauma impacting the body and the bottle representing the body. Now, if you don't release that tension, that impact on the body, it's going to stay trapped and it will be held in chronic muscle patterns that will then begin to create a lot of long-term chronic pain and other conditions that will come from that. And so with Zhan Zhuang, somatic experiencing, or any other body-based therapy, you're beginning to allow your body to release those stored traumatic energetic impacts. And when you begin to disperse and release those things, your body can then move back into a state of flow and rest. And Zhan Zhuang is a practice that can help with that. So before we start this practice, I do want to let you know some things you can expect. It is very common for people to experience a lot of shaking, sweating, pulsing, heat. Those are all normal sensations. As you're bringing your body back into alignment, you're allowing the qi in your body to flow. And the shaking, if you're looking at it from a somatic experiencing perspective, could also be thought of as a traumatic release process. What tension was in your body, you're beginning to kind of shake out and disperse, and then afterwards feeling a lot more refreshed and energetic. So as you get in position for the meditation, stand with your feet shoulder width apart and have your feet facing forward with the weight on your midfoot and heel. You'll likely rock back and forth, which is fine. Imagine your tailbone dropping down to the center of the earth and slightly tuck your tailbone under your spine to have straight alignment. Imagine that your crown is being pulled up to the sky by a string, and slightly tuck your chin down and inward to keep a straight alignment of your spine. Keep the tongue naturally to the roof of your mouth. The knees are slightly bent, and your shoulders are relaxed. The arms are in a circle, or you can keep them at your sides. Breathe calmly and evenly, and focus awareness either on your nostrils, on your navel center, or on your feet. You can shift your awareness around those regions, but begin just by focusing on one thing. Continue to bring awareness back to these areas, and when your mind wanders,
bring it back. We're building the muscle of focus and attention. If thoughts arise, acknowledge them and say, "Thanks for letting me know," and let the thoughts go. Each time you feel as if you're exerting effort, use that as a cue to relax and get even heavier as gravity pulls you down to the center of the earth. As we complete the 2 minutes, end by rocking back and forth on your feet. And slowly begin to gently tap over your body. This is to move any stagnant energy that still might be in the body and to facilitate the flow of qi energy throughout your body. Go ahead and lightly shake out your limbs. Take a deep breath. Conclude your practice.
All right, so how was that practice for you? What did you notice? Feel free to comment below, just letting me know what you noticed during that practice, and if it's something that you think you will continue to practice. If this is something you choose to be consistent with, my recommendation would be to start small. So same as we did in the video, beginning 2 minutes at a time. And doing that for, say, 3 or 4 days, or maybe for a week, and remain consistent to that commitment. I think one of the areas where we tend to fall short and lose consistency in practices that we tell ourselves are good for us is the expectations that we set. So if you think of New Year's resolutions, people often come in with like this hype and excitement of like, all right, it's a new year, new me. And because the bar is set so high, and after a few days they don't see the results that they're hoping for, it's easy for them to give up on those commitments. And so that's something I want to kind of steer you away from, and to just stay focused on the small things. In the book, The Slight Edge, Jeff Olson writes about this idea of just remaining committed to small goals, and that will begin to build up over time like compounded interest, and then you'll have your breakthroughs. In his book, he recommends reading just 10 pages of a book a day. So applying that to Zhan Zhuang, just try 2 minutes a day for however length of time that you feel is reasonable for you. There's a saying, I don't know who said it or where it comes from, but I think it's from Buddhist philosophy, which is, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. And what's interesting about this saying is that for me, it's really helped tailor my expectations. So when I think about enlightenment or awakening, I think of this huge epiphany and, you know, the whole levitating like a Jedi, all of that stuff. But it says after enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. And so you're still doing some of the same things that you've done before, but after enlightenment, the way you do them is different. Those same practices are filled with a different kind of significance, or just there's some quiet quality about it that feels deeper than it was. And so don't expect yourself to skyrocket into some other realm and begin to feel like your life is going to change 180 just after this simple practice. It's going to be something that will require time, dedication, and consistency, and even days when you don't want to do it. There's plenty of days where I don't want to do this practice. I think it's a waste of time. I would prefer to read or scroll through YouTube, find something interesting, and I think a lot of these disciplines are lost on our generation because we've become so integrated with technology and advertisement Elon Musk talks about how we're already basically androids. And I noticed that in myself, of just scrolling around absent-mindedly, thinking that, I'm going to find something cool and interesting. There's this addiction to novelty, and so these quieter, softer, or just doesn't have to be soft, but even soft or hard practices begin to lose their appeal to us because we don't see the results immediately and they're not as novel to us. But if we can begin to be consistent, again, 10 pages a day, 2 minutes a day, we begin to rewire our brain. There's this idea in neuroscience that they have also shown that neuroplasticity is a real thing. And so you can shift yourself from, all right, must find novelty all the time, what's the next best thing, to I'm going to stay committed to these practices. I know there's good material to be found here, that if I stay committed, I will see the fruits of my labor, and to not be so attached to these outcomes of seeing immediately these results come to fruition. That's all for today's video. I hope you found something beneficial to you. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.